Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I must thank Dr. Siddhartha Agrawal for having laid, such a good foundation and context for me to speak on, where I was wondering while sitting here, while the other speakers were speaking, that how do I make the shift? Because I was conscious that the shift was in three ways. One was that, well, as ICT tool, I'm not using any other tool other than this microphone. Number two, the shift in the gender, representing the woman's voice over here. And number three, from the physical infrastructure to a human resource aspect. But that shift has certainly been made easier now, in context of not only, where we are focusing on being smart and sustainable, but also some of the indicators talked about, especially in Delhi. Before I take you through just 5 minutes into the context of, what was done, translating words into action, because that's where you ended. And I've also been concerned into talking that, these are not just words, but action, and action using ICT as very effective tools of change. So the change agents and the changes, through productive use of human resources as also effective use of ICT as the change. In context of Delhi, why I would, before I, go into mission convergence, highlight is because we have been very aware that, there has been a wide disconnect, disconnect between the haves and the have-nots, disconnect between, something which is a very, very planned and, best of the world-class city, and yet like 3/4, people living in totally unplanned colonies, and, juggies, and notified and non-notified slums, and unauthorized colonies, given very adverse indicators. I'm talking actually in right under our nose with, as you said, that, more than 50% malnourished, or, women more than 50% being anemic, with more than 75% girls when we started the program actually dropping out at the senior secondary level. So what does the government do? Where is this disconnect, and how does one use the ICT? We realized that there was no dearth in terms of resources, especially in Delhi. There were more than 600 crores of rupees which were being spent in the name of welfare schemes and programs across different sectors. You spoke of the intersectoral issues. We realized that, well, we are looking at health and education and augmenting skill and, giving them rights and awareness and, counseling sessions, and yet, this disconnect. So somewhere there was a need for a concerted strategy, a strategy which combine not only different tools, but also the different actors in form of the government, the non-governmental, the civil society organizations, the experts in various fields, including technology, and last but not the least, the community themselves. In the morning, I heard people talk about participatory governance. I talked about a failure of a planning process when JNURM was being spoken about. It is this which has been the bane of most of our programs to be actually effective and to serve the purpose for which, they are planned. And in this planning process, we realized early in the day, through when we were planning, a program of the mission convergence, that it was important to make it as realistic, as bottom-up as possible, and not the typical top-down approach which we have been following so far. So this innovation, born with the objective to reach out to the unreached, to bring them into the planning process, and to improve the delivery, to improve the efficiency, to improve the accountability of our own government schemes and programs. So these were the two major objectives with which we started. And I would only be able to give you some of the salient, elements of the program, a program which could cover, in just 2 years, it could cover 60 lakh people, by bringing them into the database, people who had not counted, including the homeless. We recently finished the survey of the homeless in Delhi. There were various kinds of estimates, and now we know exactly, amongst them, there were 60,000 of which we could collect the socioeconomic database. and including the different vulnerabilities of how many are single girls, adolescent girls, children, what kind of occupations that they are in. So that was the starting process of the program, that first creating that empirical evidence and doing as Dr. Siddharth Agrawal said, that poverty maps, the spatial mapping and the local area mapping. So this we did with the help of the community-based organizations themselves, because going by the MCD data, we realized that it was 1991 that so many slums had been listed, after which so many had been added on the ground, but there was no data. So over 2 years, we could collect a database of 60 lakh people, including homeless, started doing the enrollment for them with the UID too, and started the Aadhaar number with the most difficult to reach out, because UID otherwise, would actually have been riding on the already listed people. So we started the most challenging task of first doing it with the homeless, on the 2nd of October last year, with the first homeless woman, given the number, given the bank account. So this is these were some of the salient features: making people count, giving all of them a unique identity, transferring these people into something called a single entitlement register. Because once you know that you are living in a particular area, you face a vulnerability related to your occupation, related to your income, related to your social attributes, then you are entitled to the government programs which are meant for different kinds of vulnerabilities, like the old age pension, the widow pension, the pension for the handicapped, then maternity benefits, and then for the children in the 0 to 6 years, we have several programs. So accordingly, making data segregation according to the various criteria of the programs. Another interesting thing which was done was bringing uniformity into the systems and our programs, which were looking for different kind of documentation and a very repetitive exercise across 40 different schemes, asking people to fill 40 different forms, whereas the common denominator was so apparent. So translating, clubbing all of them, integrating the 40 forms into just one form, and then making that online submission possible. And in this process, while using the ICT for the convenience of the government, what was also consciously done was train a whole lot of community people and volunteers, grassroots level organizations, fully computerize all the extension outposts. I started with just 4 in number, expanded to 20 and then 40, and by the time last year we finished this expansion exercise, we had 120 such community outposts all over, called the Suvidha Kendra, the facilitation center. Each one of them are fully computerized. The data of the vulnerable groups which are entered here are all transported to the central database system that we maintain, a central data center. So creating that common database which can be used by different departments which were already repetitively trying to collect that data themselves. That is the Department of Social Welfare and Women and Child and Labor and Urban Development, and you have Education and Health Department. So these are the main departments, and the PDS, of course. And in the process of computerization, I'm also tempted to share that when we looked at the existing data, there were one single person who had 999 ration cards. So the use of ICT, let me tell you at the outset how important it had been to look at these highly evident inconsistencies which were there right under our nose, years after years. So these were simple tools used to clean that, and then have the uniformity in sharing of one common database. Training capacity building of all at all levels has been a very important feature. Then sharing of the knowledge and information on the government schemes, with the poor for whom they are meant, has been a very important feature. Maintaining a dynamic database, because it can't possibly be a one-time exercise. So making it possible that any deaths, any disability in the family, that's duly recorded, birth, and You would hear of, like, say, schemes called Ladli and all, which are encouraging registration of the birth of the girl child. So making the dynamic database possible, but it is only possible if we had these extension outposts. Otherwise, for one department to say whether it's an IT department that let people come and report it, to one single place, it would not have been possible. And, then also another very important feature has been, making the intake objective and not based on discretion. I realized that, why we were not really going in for computerization earlier was because it was really helping our discretionary system of, people who would otherwise have the so-called mandate and the authority. They would be the ones who would recommend and make sure that a person, an old man gets an old age pension. But here you're making the system so fair and transparent that nobody needs anybody's recommendation once you are a part of that database. And so thus, making people count, making people a part of the planning process, forcing accountability on our public services, it has all helped us, in a way to move towards our dream of making an inclusive city, a city giving equal opportunity for the citizens, a city making sure that we have informed citizenry who cares for the city and vice versa, and ultimately, creating people into productive citizens. Thank you.